So welcome those of you who are joining us for this conversation. We're glad that you're here. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about cultivating enough in the care of clergy, which is a new initiative of the Presbytery, which began its first cohort this past August. We invited 12 pastors who were serving in small churches, churches in communities of color, and church plants and replants to be together for times of small group gatherings, for webinars, for retreats, for special events that would help to cultivate a sense of enough to provide colleagues and fellowship and resourcing for all that they need to be fulfilled in their ministry. And so we're really happy today to have with us two of the members of those cohorts, Reverend Anna Grant Borden and Reverend Peter Martin. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves a little bit to you, and then we'll get started with our conversation. So Anna, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I am Anna Grant Borden, and I'm pastor at Mount Airy Presbyterian Church, which is a small church, a diverse church in an urban area.
I am Peter Martin. I'm the pastor of First Pres Norristown. We'll have been there for 7 years this June, and that is a small, diverse church as well. Went from a small town church to a suburban church, and now it is an urban church as well.
Okay, great. So I thought just to get our conversation started, if both of you could share a little bit about why you said yes to this program and how the program has been beneficial to you, and then we can just kind of go from there. So Anna, you want to start again?
Well, when the program was introduced to me, it was made clear that it was about taking care of pastors. Mm-hmm. And I felt that I needed to be taken care of. I love the title, Cultivating Enough. Being able to see myself as enough to do the ministry that God had given to me. Mm-hmm. And so it sounded very inviting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Peter, for you?
The main appeal of it to me was the fellowship. Mm-hmm. Particularly as we were still in the midst of the pandemic. I recognized a lot of our fellowship was going to have to be virtual, but just so much of church and so much else that I was involved in, it had become all business. Mm. And also a lot of other presbytery fellowship things, like everything else during COVID, kind of had to tail off. So for me to get a chance to network back in and to reach out and receive that care mm-hmm. from within the presbytery, I think was really important to me. This presbytery has always been good, in the 7 years I've been here anyway, of reminding us that we are enough. Mm-hmm. But, I really wanted to hear that message again, particularly because we were all so disconnected from one another mm-hmm. in the midst of the pandemic. It just seemed like kind of a no-brainer decision, to be mm-hmm. honest with you.
And so can you talk a little bit about how this program has lived into that expectation, or what aspects of the program have been meaningful for you, mm-hmm. Peter?
Yeah, to get a chance to come together and to talk about our shared ministry experiences, but also to do it in a guided and constructive way. The Lectio Divina, for example, is a time of devotions, but it has that particular structure and rhythm to it, mm-hmm. which I really liked. The virtual retreat, we had that structure and that very excellent speaker mm-hmm. and person who guided us and who got us to share some stories. And Anna and I were the two storytellers, yes. As fun coincidence goes, or providence, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah, And that retreat was excellent, and still operating within the virtual constraints, but I loved how I still got away that weekend, even if it was just to Malvern. But I was still away, and that was really critical. And this is, once again, God was gracious to us, and the pandemic at least is broken for now. But then to be able to get away together a couple of weekends ago, I thought just built on all of that. So, I mean, it was an awesome program, and it worked within the constraints of the pandemic, and it worked when we could meet in person. And I just thought it was all valuable.
Yeah.
And it was a flexible program. A tribute to our leadership. I'll plug you in there.
Well, and that's one of the things that I really value about the program as the program director, and you all know that Reverend Dr. Dixon is our program associate, and so when Pastor Janelle and I had been talking about what the spring would look like, we realized, so we had that retreat in the fall, which was a virtual retreat, which I agree with you too. It was great to be able to at least get away, even though we were all in separate places. And we were feeling like, since it seemed like it was safe enough to get together, like just how great it would be for us to be away at the shore. And so I valued that in the program, is that we can make that kind of a pivot. It was a little bit tough on some people's schedules. We realized that when you can't schedule something months in advance, but enough people could come that we thought, right after Easter, let's pull together a retreat where we can be together in person. And the people in charge love the shore, and so we ended up at the shore.
I love the shore.
Yeah, we realized a lot of people love the shore too, but I really value that aspect of the program, that we can see who are the people that are in even just so we have your cohort. We have a pilot group of pastors who was part of the planning grant that preceded the larger grant, and so they've been helpful too. But we've even seen that with that pilot group of pastors, their needs can be different than what your cohort is, and so to be able to say, okay, let's adjust and see what we can do, has been really great. So that retreat was, and that fellowship time was really great. Yeah, but so Anna, do you want to share a little bit about what's been good, what you've enjoyed about the program?
Yes, I've had a chance to do the math. I've been in the presbytery for 13 years.
Okay, yes.
And for most of that time, I really did not have fellowship with other pastors. Most of that time, I went to the presbytery meetings, and I saw people, I knew names, I knew faces, but I didn't have a relationship with most of the pastors, or really not many pastors, just a couple in the presbytery. And so I did feel isolated. And when we did get together in our little groups, there was that feeling of, how much can I share? And how much can I say? Because I don't want anybody to look at me and judge, what I'm doing. I don't know if it's safe or not safe. And you would listen to what everybody was doing, and you would say, I'm not doing that. This has changed that for me. This has made a big difference. And I like the way that you eased into our fellowship, because the first retreat where we were on our own, it was wonderful. It was wonderful because I have not been alone on a retreat or anywhere away from my family like that. I can't remember when. And so that was like a self-care, was something that I had not done. So that was my introduction into the self-care that you have been instilling in us in this program. And then to be away and still have that connection that we had through the virtual, I got to get to know the other pastors in a safe space. It was really wonderful. It really was. And then moving into the Lectio Divina and the small groups that we did, I've gotten to know Peter, I've gotten to know the other people in the group, and I've gotten to understand that I'm not alone. I am not the only one that's going through this. I'm not the only one who feels like this. And that they have the same feelings of inadequacy and all of the things that I go through, everybody's going through. And then as and like I said, you've done this gradually. So as we have gotten together more often, I felt safe being vulnerable. telling other people what I feel and listen to what they feel, and then the opportunity to have other people listen to what I say and analyze it and feed it back to me as to what they see in a loving way. I mean, it's just been awesome, to be able to have that feedback, and so it has bound us together. And then coming together at the shore was just like the icing on the cake, because then not only did we see each other in two dimensions, we got to see each other in 3 dimensions and be ourselves as people. We related to each other as human beings, not as pastors, but as human beings, and that was invaluable. So it's just really done a lot for me, and it's also taken a lot of the stress that I was feeling away.
Peter, you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, once again, this was already brought up, but the fact that this program, even if there was no such thing as a pandemic, this program has also really been good about emphasizing getting away and the on your own meditative side of self-care. I don't want to speak for any other pastor. I know that I am outgoing, but I am also an introvert. I need my alone time. And once again, my church, I love my church, and I certainly love my family. My daughter and I took a road trip to Baltimore back last night, and it was awesome. But I've had to be a lot for a lot of people for quite a long time. So to be given the opportunity, once again, the virtual retreat, but there's been others, to get away, I think, has been so good. There has been many other programs I've been a part of that have been very instructional, and they've been great, but this has been one of the few, maybe even only, that has emphasized get away on your own, just you and God. There'll be guidance for that meditative time. I've loved that, but also a hands-off enough approach that I could be away on my own and actually have time to think about these things and pray about these things. And sometimes I feel like I've just not had that time any other time and anywhere else. It's been valuable.
Good. Well, that's been very encouraging. It's great to hear what both of you have to say about the program, and just I've really valued getting to know both of you more and just how much you've leaned into the program. Even your willingness to come and sit down here today, I just really appreciate that. Because it is, you've put yourselves into it and you've put yourselves out there, and that's what's been a blessing, not only for what you've gotten out of it, but has been a real blessing to your colleagues too, the way you show up and participate and are there for them. So I'm encouraged. As you know, this program is 2 years, so we're just kind of wrapping up the first program year, and then we have another year to care for you and to offer those small groups and workshops and retreats. So I'm looking forward to what the next year will bring.
Looking forward to it too.
We are too. We are too. The group, I think, has really finally started to gel in that respect. I think this last retreat was a big part of that. It was both part of the process and proof of the process.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, thank you, and thank all of you for joining us. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My contact information is on our website. And so, thank you, and we'll wave goodbye. Bye.
Thank you.